Hello everyone, Dr. Megan here, the Prednisone Pharmacist. I'm here to share with you the results of the Prednisone Survey, and I'm so excited you're here to join us. First of all, who am I? I am a pharmacist, and I was prescribed prednisone because I have a bleeding disorder, and the prednisone saved my life. But it was miserable. It came at a cost, a lot of side effects. So I've made it my mission to help other people suffering from side effects that prednisone causes. I knew what prednisone did to me, but I don't know how it feels for everyone else. So I created the Prednisone Survey, and I'll be sharing those results with you today. What are we going to do during this presentation? First of all, we're going to go through the first 3 questions of the Prednisone Survey. And then I'm going to explain why I'm not doing this live. And last of all, we will find out the most surprising result of the Prednisone Survey. So question 1 was, what is your single biggest challenge with the prescription drug prednisone? And when I wrote this question, I expected that everyone would say weight gain for sure. And then I thought insomnia would be the second place. I was not surprised then when 52% of responders said that weight gain was their number one biggest challenge with prednisone. On this chart, you can see the percentage of people who responded with each type of side effect of prednisone. So we're going to start at the bottom of the slide. First of all, weight gain by far takes the lead at 52%. Next are emotional side effects like irritability, rage, not being in control of your emotions, a loss of joy. That was number 2, and about 18% of people suffer from that. And then 16% of people suffer from moon face, so the puffy cheeks, the round face that's the shape of a moon. The next one is a taper. People struggle with knowing how to taper, struggle getting off of prednisone. There are a lot of issues with tapering off of prednisone. Now in 5th place is insomnia. So I had guessed it was going to be 2nd place, but it's all the way down at 5th place. And it wasn't just sleeplessness, it was nightmares, emotional nightmares, and just worrying all night long. Next is joint pain. That one is at 8 to 9%. Now this one really surprised me. I did not have this one on my radar. It's not listed in most side effect literature about prednisone. So nearly 10% of people suffering from joint pain while on prednisone is a surprise. And about 5% of people were worried about blood sugar or diabetes or blood glucose changes caused by prednisone. And the last one I'm going to list is bone damage. So people are worried about osteoporosis, bone loss, even I think one of the worst side effects of prednisone of all time is called osteonecrosis. It's where your joints, like your hip, the bones just rot away and you have to have like a hip replacement. Even if you're young and, you know, in your 30s, you still need a hip replacement as if you're 80. And so I think that one's the worst, but it's incredibly rare. And there were several more, actually a lot more side effects that people experience, but for brevity, we're going to just focus on those that 5% or more people responded in common. So the second question is, how long have you been taking prednisone? And it's probably skewed here by the number of people who responded, because the people who were most wanting the prednisone wellness checklist are those who are suffering for a long time. And so those who responded as more than 1 year was nearly half of the survey respondents. And then about 17% of people have been on prednisone for 6 to 12 months. About 9% of people on prednisone for 3 to 6 months. 13% for 1 to 3 months, and those who just started was down to 8%. Now, the surprising result on this question was the percent of people who responded other. And I should have been prepared for that, but I wasn't. It was about 17 to 18% of people said that they use it as needed. So if they have a flare of multiple sclerosis or rheumatoid arthritis or another condition that waxes and wanes, that's when 17 to 18% of people are on prednisone. So it's not forever. They get off of it, but they will probably go on it again. And now the third question is, what dose of prednisone are you taking? So the way this question was framed is basically high dose is more than 40 milligrams. Medium dose is anywhere between 7.5 to 40 milligrams. And low dose is less than 7.5 milligrams. So the majority of people are in that medium dose of 7.5 to 40 milligrams. And there are about 18% of you, bless your hearts, who are on more than 40 milligrams a day. And then a lot of people, about 37%, are on lower dose. So they experience potentially less side effects, but the bone loss can still continue at that lower dose, even though it's lower. So what was my most surprising result from this survey is the first question asked, what is your single biggest challenge with the prescription drug prednisone? It asked for one thing, but prednisone is so awful, it is so tough that people didn't say just one thing. Most people responded with more than one. If you go back to that slide, that it doesn't add up to 100. It adds up to way more than 100 because people responded with weight gain and insomnia and bone loss and a whole bunch of other things. And so I counted each of those individually, but it adds up that people are suffering, that people on prednisone aren't suffering with just one thing, that it is affecting every part of their lives, and asking them to narrow it down to one single challenge was nearly impossible. And so they didn't have just one thing listed. And I'm glad to see that, because it helps me see that this is a need that I'm hoping to fill here. And that brings why I'm not doing this live. So my grandmother, she was an amazing person. She passed away, and I'm attending her funeral. She inspired me to become a pharmacist. And how did she do that? Well, first of all, she put her husband through pharmacy school. Next, she raised all 7 of her children to work in the family pharmacy. And especially she raised my daddy to become a pharmacist as well. When she found out I was going to pharmacy school, she was so excited for me. And she has been one of my #1 supporters. She, I believe, also had to go on prednisone several times. So it's sad that having one of my #1 cheerleaders disappear. And so I will be with over 100 of her descendants at her funeral, and that's why I won't be live. But I was so excited to share these surveys with you that I still recorded this, and wanted you all to know where we're going next, that we're going to go for what you asked for. You asked for the weight gain, you asked for the emotional changes, help with addressing those top concerns of yours. And so that's what we'll focus on in our future Facebook Lives, and they will be live in the future. I'm not hoping to lose any more family members anytime soon. I hope you understand that, and I look forward to speaking with you next Thursday at 12:30 Pacific time, and it will be live on the Dr. Megan Prednisone Pharmacist page. Thank you.